Yes guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Frenkie de Jong and Konrad Laimer to Manchester United, as well as updates from Sky Sports and Fabrizio Romano surrounding the departures of Wan Bissaka and Eric Bailly. But before we get into it, guys, please make sure that you do like and subscribe. So this story is coming from Chris Wheeler, who writes for the Daily Mail, and what he's saying is that Manchester United have told Barcelona they won't blow their budget on a £70 million summer deal for Frenkie de Jong. Barcelona want to recoup the £65 million it cost to sign him, but a compromise remains some way off. Frenkie de Jong is one of Manchester United's top targets, but they made it clear to Barcelona and de Jong's representatives that they cannot commit such a slice of their transfer funds to sign him. Obviously, when they were planning for the summer, they probably weren't even taking into account that this deal was something that was possible. They probably weren't thinking about spending this kind of money on a midfielder. I think they were probably thinking about spending this sort of 65, 70 million on Darwin Nunez or any other striker, as the striker was the priority. So now that this has come up, I really don't think they want to spend too much on de Jong, because it could change their entire plans completely. And also the fact that Barcelona are the ones who need the cash. We really want de Jong, but we do have other midfield options if needed that we've spoken about on the channel before. Whereas Barcelona are the ones who need us, we don't need them. And I think this is why United might try and play a hard bargain where they don't really want to overpay, because we're essentially doing them a favour by giving them the funds to be able to sign players like Lewandowski they've been linked with. And without the cash for de Jong, they won't be able to do such things, and they won't have any cash to pay off the debts that they've got or any add-ons from last summer, etc. So I really do think this is United just trying to basically force Barca's hand into selling de Jong for 65, 70. And to be honest, the fact that Barcelona are so desperate for cash means that I wouldn't really want to spend more than 70 million on him anyways. As we've talked about on the channel before, de Jong would be a fantastic signing. He knows Ten Hag's system. He's just a fantastic midfielder overall, and to be honest, 70 million is probably around what he's worth as well, so we wouldn't be overpaying if we did spend that. And obviously, look, I know he doesn't really want to leave Barcelona and come here, but if we can convince him, then I don't see why not, because it's not like he's being forced to come here. He's coming for the money, really. He'll be coming because Barcelona will be forcing him out, but that doesn't mean that he can't be committed to United if he does come. He would also work really well in midfield 2, which is kind of primarily where he plays, more so as a 6, but I don't think he's a lone DM, which is why I think we'll see him in a double pivot with another midfielder. That leads us to our next story about Konrad Laimer. So the story about Laimer is coming from Christian Falk, who is a really good journalist around a lot of German news. However, he has been wrong in the past about, for example, Rangnick coming to the club. He ruled that out before it came. So do take it with a pinch of salt, but he has been seen to be reliable on some things as well, like the Sancho deal and the Haaland deal. So what he's basically saying is that Konrad Laimer dreams of playing in the Premier League and is available for around 20 million euros. Laimer is a player of interest for Bayern, but Leipzig do not want to sell to them. Now, Laimer is going to go this summer because he's only got 1 year left in his deal and he's not signing a new contract, so he will be leaving. 20 million euros is an absolute steal. Obviously, they don't really want to sell to Bayern because they sold them Sabitzer as well, and Bayern seem to buy a lot of the talent in Germany and just hoover it up and basically just become so good that no one else can really touch them. So I do see why Leipzig don't really want to sell to Bayern Munich, and it does make sense. So I don't think they would have any problems with selling to Manchester United as well, because we won't be in the Champions League. We won't be any rivals to RB Leipzig this season, I don't think. Obviously, you do have to take into account that Laimer dreams of playing in the Premier League as well. A lot of Bundesliga players who are German would love to play for Bayern and stay in the Bundesliga, like Kimmich, for example, Philipp Lahm, etc. But players who aren't German and haven't maybe grown up around German football, a lot of them do want to come to the Premier League. And I think Konrad Laimer to Manchester United is a really possible deal. I think it would be fantastic for every club involved. Obviously, this would be massively helped by the Ralf Rangnick links as well, because Ralf Rangnick will be the Austrian manager. Konrad Laimer is from Austria. Ralf Rangnick has the links with RB Leipzig, where he managed them and helped build the club, where Laimer would be coming from. So there's a lot of things that fall into place here when you think about Laimer coming to United. And for 20 million euros as well, he'd be really cheap, and I think that's just a bargain, to be honest. And there's not a lot of risk when you're spending that much, because his resale value, let's say hypothetically, he just flops at United, you could probably still sell him for 15, 20 million anyway. There's not a lot of risk with this transfer as well, so I don't see why we wouldn't do it. And I think it'd be a fantastic deal to do. It's just whether United can get it over the line, and if they're even that interested. However, the fact that Ralf Rangnick is here now could be a big pull into making United want to sign Konrad Laimer, because without Rangnick or Ten Hag or anything, there's no way they'd be even looking at this deal. But the fact that Rangnick has these links with Austria as well as RB Leipzig does make it a feasible deal, and for 20 million euros, that'd be so cheap. I think he'd be perfect as well. I mean, imagine him and De Jong in a double pivot with Bruno Odoni as the number 10. You know, you see, we're gonna need two midfielders as well. I do think, because we've got Matic leaving, Pogba leaving, Lingard leaving. So I do think we need to sign two. De Jong can't be the only midfield signing if we do get him. There's obviously talk of Phillips, Neves, etc. But I think, let's say Laimer and De Jong were to come, that'd be about £90 million for, or euros should I say, for two fantastic midfielders who can play together and double pivot, and that would honestly solve our midfield problems. So let's see what happens with this deal, but it's really interesting, and I'd be really excited if it does happen. Now we'll move on to the last story about Wan Bissaka and Erik Bailly. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano and Sky Sports. And basically what Romano is saying is that Manchester United are prepared to let Erik Bailly and Aaron Wan Bissaka leave this summer. It depends on the proposals, but both have chances to leave the club, with strong interest from Crystal Palace for Wan Bissaka. Now, Wan Bissaka to Crystal Palace on loan does make sense, because obviously that's where he's come from. And I don't think they'd be willing to pay 30 million or anything like that as of yet. Erik Bailly, I think, look, he was done dirty by the club last year into signing that contract, and he really shouldn't have believed the club, to be honest. That's his own stupidity. He was linked with AC Milan. He probably should have gone then, and I think he will go this summer. I'm 100% sure Erik Bailly will go this summer. I mean, I hope he goes as well, because that's funds for us to buy new centre-backs such as Timber. I think Wan Bissaka needs to leave as well, because we do need a right-back, and that could maybe be the push for United to get a right-back. If we do let Wan Bissaka go on loan, though, we wouldn't be getting a lot of funds in. But I would love to sell Wan Bissaka, honestly, for 20 million. Let's just get rid of him, because he isn't going to work under Ten Hag. To be honest, he was decent in his first season as well, so there is potential there for another club, but I just don't think he'll ever be good enough for Manchester United. Sky Sports have gone one step further to say that the fullback does not feature in new manager Erik Ten Hag's plans. And yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Wan Bissaka, he's terrible on the ball. Yes, he's good defensively, but in a Ten Hag system, the guy, he just doesn't have the footballing ability and the football IQ and the ability on the ball to be running up and down, whipping in crosses, stuff like that. If you watch Ajax and look at Ten Hag as well, what he's done with Mazraoui, for example, at right back, right backs are so important for Ten Hag. They're imperative to how he plays football, right backs and left backs, to be honest. And yeah, Wan Bissaka really just does not fit that mould, and I don't see how he would ever fit in there. And Erik Bailly, I think it's just time to cut our losses. I think he's the one who's pushing this as well, because he's injury prone. He's not worked out at United, and he's not been given a chance this season when he probably does deserve it. To be honest, he's been done dirty, very dirty by the club, who've basically lied to him and made him stay to withhold value. But they've done that many a time, and yeah, it's time to go for both of these guys. Wish them the best, but they're just not going to work under Ten Hag. And I'll be excited to see who we get in now. I mean, could we be getting Timber and a right back now as well? That'd be sick. But yeah, guys, let me know down below what you think of this video. Make sure you do like and subscribe as well. And thank you guys for watching.